My name is Charlotte Smith and I'm an associate at Sharpe Pritchard. During this webinar, I'm going to be talking about the impact of COVID-19 on data protection law in the UK and what you need to do to stay GDPR compliant during the coronavirus outbreak. So the first thing to consider is whether it's business as usual for data protection here in the UK. GDPR, the Data Protection Act 2018, and the Privacy and Electronic Communications Regulations 2003 continue to be enforced. So Privacy and Electronic Communications Regulations being marketing regulations, what we call PECA. That means you've still got to comply with that law, regardless of the impact of COVID-19. So you need to think about how you're going to manage that. The GDPR 7 key principles of lawful processing of personal data remain the same, regardless of the impact of COVID-19, so you must continue to comply with them. The rights of individual data subjects, so that's things like the right of erasure and subject access requests, remain the same, and so do the timescales for responding to those requests. In addition, the Information Commissioner's Office, who is the regulator for data protection in the UK, can continue to enforce against organisations for failures to meet data protection legislation. However, the ICO have recognised their ability to be flexible and the need to be. They therefore issued a statement on 15th of April 2020 detailing how they intend to operate and what the public can expect of them during the next few months. So the ICO, as part of their regulatory flexibility, in their statement set out a number of steps that they're going to take. Overall, they committed themselves to an empathetic and pragmatic approach to enforcing data protection law. So some of the steps and actions they're going to be taking, we've summarised on this slide here. The ICO will continue to recognise the rights and protections granted to people by data protection law in terms of personal information and also freedom of information as well, if you're thinking about other information rights. The ICO is going to focus on the most serious challenges and greatest threats to the public during that time. You might have recently seen that they did issue a statement about the Apple and Google tracing app that is being developed. The ICO has said they will assist frontline organisations in providing advice and guidance on data protection laws. They will be taking firm action against those exploiting the pandemic by misusing personal information. And you may have heard stories about potential spam calls out there and phishing emails and people that are using these sad times to take advantage of people's personal data. The ICO have also said that they will be flexible in their approach and they'll consider the impact of their actions on organisations during this time. In addition, they've said they're ready to provide support to business and public authorities post-coronavirus. As part of the ICO guidance on coronavirus, they issued their 10 tips for home working. And so we've replicated those on this slide here for your ease of reference. The first one is follow your organisation's policies, procedures and guidance. This is really important. Those policies and procedures that your organisation has already got in place will continue to be in place and you must continue to follow them. The second one is only use approved technology for handling personal data. So in these extraordinary times when you're perhaps working from home and you think, oh, I've got a better app for dealing with this problem or a better way of communicating with a colleague, think first about whether this is approved by your organisation and perhaps you need to seek that approval from your information security team. Consider the confidentiality that you have in your home when holding conversations or using a screen. This is particularly important if you are sharing a house with others. Do you have somewhere private where you can take a phone call? Can your screen be seen by others? Do you need to find a way of positioning yourself at home so that others cannot see it? Be very careful with printing out documents. Think about what you do need to print out, where you're going to store that information and how you're going to take it with you back to the office so that you can securely dispose of it. Don't mix your data with your organisation's data. This is particularly important if your organisation allows you to use your own device. So you need to ensure that there is a separation so that where necessary, you can delete your organisation's data. Lock away your devices and paper where possible, making sure that no one else in your home and household can access it. Again, ensuring confidentiality. Be extra vigilant at this time about opening web links and attachments in emails or other messaging apps. So that could be someone that sends you a message through a conference call app. Are you expecting that message? Does that attachment seem, immediately look like something you're expecting? If not, get in contact with your organisation's IT team. Continue to use strong passwords at all times, and remember to use different passwords across different applications so that you're being as secure as possible. Communicate securely with your colleagues, so thinking about using the approved technology again, perhaps it's not going to be appropriate in a lot of circumstances to be using personal devices. And keep your software up to date at all times. So make sure that you're installing updates when your computer asks for them, so that you're not creating a backdoor for hackers into your system. So what should public authorities be doing at this time? Well, if a lot of your workforce is working remotely, and especially if you see that to be the case going forwards in the immediate future, then check the privacy and security settings of any technology being used by your organisation, including video conferencing technology. Keep your employees updated on phishing risks, so those scam emails that we were talking about earlier, making sure that people aren't vulnerable to those types of risks. Make sure all software is up to date. Keep pushing through updates onto your employees' devices. Keep everything under review. At the start of lockdown, you might have made some quick decisions about what was best for everyone to be working from home, what was the best apps for communicating, but keep that under review. That might not be the best solution going forward. As much as possible, you must be processing personal data in compliance with law and respecting data subject rights as you usually would. And remember your data protection officer. All public authorities have a data protection officer. And so involve them in your decision making about people working from home and the data protection protections that you need to have in place to ensure that everyone is working securely and in compliance with the law. If you do suffer a data protection issue, such as a personal data breach, then that needs to be reported to the ICO, and in any event within 72 hours in accordance with the GDPR. Make sure you're responding to any ICO requests as soon as possible, and keep evidence of the ways in which your organisation is impacted by the pandemic. Therefore, like you would in normal circumstances, if for any reason you couldn't report a personal data breach within the 72 hours, you must give the ICO reason why, when you do report, why that report is in late. Similarly, if there is for some reason, good reason why you have not responded to a subject access request within 1 month, then keep a record of that. Keep the audit trail of that evidence so that you can explain it where necessary, because it could be that there is very good reason if you've got a lack of resources in place right now. So thank you very much for watching this presentation. If you have any other questions about how coronavirus is impacting your organisation, then you can contact Sharpe Pritchard at covidhelp@sharpepritchard.co.uk. Thank you.